There was one truth everyone in the Pacific believed. You do not turn with a Zero. From the first months of the war, that rule governed every American cockpit briefing, every panicked radio call, every funeral back home. The Mitsubishi A6M Zero could outclimb you, outturn you, and outfight you. It weighed less. It bled less energy. It could pivot inside your turn like it had read your mind. Japanese naval aviation instructors taught it as doctrine, and Allied pilots learned it the hard way, often in flames. By 1942, the Zero had become more than an airplane. It was a reputation, an invisible wall in the sky. American pilots spoke about it the way sailors talk about storms, something you respect or it kills you. U.S. intelligence reports confirmed it. Early Wildcat pilots survived only by discipline and fear. Never dogfight. Dive away. Stick together. Hope. Japanese commanders believed it too. They believed the Zero had given them permanent mastery of the air. That no American machine could challenge it without breaking the laws of aerodynamics. And for a while they were right. But in 1944, over a stretch of blue water near the Mariana Islands, one man climbs into a new airplane and discovers that the old rule no longer applies. Because this time, when the Zero turns, you turn with it. And the sky belongs to you. You are Lieutenant Commander David McCampbell, age 31, from Bessemer, Alabama. You are not loud. You are not reckless. You are methodical to the point of obsession. Naval Academy graduate. Test pilot. Instructor. You have spent years teaching others how not to die in the air. When the war begins, you are grounded, not by injury but by responsibility. You train pilots while others rack up kills. You listen to stories of friends who never come back. You wait. By late 1943, the Navy finally sends you forward. You take command of Fighting Squadron 15 aboard the aircraft carrier USS Essex. Your pilots are young. Some are barely out of flight school. They look at you like a measuring stick. And now, in 1944, the war has reached a breaking point. The United States is advancing across the Central Pacific, island by island, toward Japan itself. The Mariana Islands, Saipan, Tinian, Guam, are the gateway. From there, American bombers can reach the Japanese home islands. Japan knows this, so they gather everything they have left. Hundreds of carrier aircraft, land-based fighters, veteran pilots. This is their counterpunch, their chance to annihilate the U.S. carrier fleet in one decisive battle and restore the old balance. Their confidence rests on a single assumption: the Zero is still supreme. But waiting on American flight decks is something new. The Grumman F6F Hellcat, 6.50 caliber machine guns, over 400 miles per hour. Armor behind the pilot's head. Self-sealing fuel tanks. A Pratt & Whitney engine that keeps running even when shot full of holes. It does not turn like a Zero. It doesn't need to. The Navy has changed its doctrine. New tactics. Energy fighting. High-speed slashing attacks. Teamwork drilled into muscle memory. And on the morning of June 19, 1944, you strap into your Hellcat knowing this is the day everything will be tested. Because the enemy is coming, and the sky will decide who is right. The alarm sounds before dawn. Radar contacts, large formations, closing fast. You launch from Essex into a sky already crowded with contrails. Hundreds of American fighters climb to altitude, spreading out in layered defenses. Below you, the fleet glints in the sun, carriers, battleships, cruisers, everything the war depends on. You level off at 15,000 feet. Then you see them. Dots at first, then shapes, then wings. Japanese aircraft pour in by the hundreds. Zeros leading, dive bombers and torpedo planes behind them. They are confident. They fly straight and tight just like they always have. You push the throttle forward. The engine roars. The Hellcat surges ahead. The airframe vibrates with power. You glance at your gun sight. You pick a target. Range, 1,500 yards. 1,200. 1,000. You squeeze the trigger. 6 machine guns erupt at once. The sound is not a rattle, it's a tearing scream. Tracers streak out and walk across the enemy fuselage. The Zero shudders, then bursts into flame. Pieces peel off and tumble away. You pull up hard, feeling the G-forces crush your chest. Another Zero crosses your nose. You roll after it. This is the moment the old rule would have killed you. You stay with him. The Zero turns tighter, but you don't stall. You keep your speed. You climb slightly, then dive back through his turn, firing again. The Zero disintegrates. Your radio explodes with voices. Splash 1. They're going down everywhere. Watch your 6. The Japanese pilots try to adapt. They break formation. They turn harder. They climb. It doesn't matter. Every time they slow to turn, a Hellcat dives through and tears them apart. Every time they try to climb, American fighters zoom past them and roll over for another pass. You glance at your fuel. Still good. A Zero dives toward the fleet. You pursue. Range, 900 yards. You fire. The Zero explodes so violently you fly through debris. Something slams into your wing. The Hellcat shudders, but it keeps flying. Below, the sea is dotted with parachutes and burning wreckage. This isn't a battle. It's a collapse. In one engagement, you shoot down 7 enemy aircraft. 7. By the end of the day, American pilots claim more than 300 Japanese planes destroyed. U.S. losses are fewer than 30. The Japanese call it the Great Marianas Air Battle. American pilots give it another name: the Great Marianas Turkey Shoot. For the first time, Japanese aviators realize the truth. The Zero is no longer untouchable. The next day, June 20th, the enemy tries again. You launch late in the afternoon. Fuel is tight. The sun is dropping. You know the odds. You intercept a formation of retreating Japanese aircraft over open ocean. You attack anyway. One by one you hunt them down. 9 kills. 9 aircraft destroyed in a single mission. Your ammunition runs dry. Your fuel gauge drops toward 0. Darkness closes in. You turn back toward the fleet, alone, navigating by instinct and fading light. You land on Essex with fumes in your tanks and blood on your flight suit, from a shrapnel cut you didn't notice until after you shut down the engine. The deck crew stares at you in silence. They know what this means. So does the enemy. What the Japanese command doesn't fully grasp yet is how final this moment is. Their carrier air arm, the elite pilots trained before the war, is gone. Years of experience erased in 2 days. The replacement pilots who will follow lack the training, the hours, the confidence. The Zero's weaknesses are now exposed. Its lack of armor. Its fragile fuel tanks. Its inability to absorb punishment. American tactics spread across the fleet. The Hellcat becomes the dominant fighter of the Pacific War, credited with over 5,000 enemy aircraft destroyed. The Marianas fall. B-29 bombers begin launching from newly captured airfields. Japan's home islands are no longer out of reach. The war doesn't end immediately, but its outcome is no longer in doubt. And at the center of that shift is the moment when pilots like David McCampbell proved that the old rule was dead. You could turn with a Zero and survive. David McCampbell finishes the war with 34 confirmed kills, the highest-scoring U.S. Navy ace in history. He receives the Medal of Honor. After the war, he returns to a quiet life, rarely speaking about the day the sky changed. He lives long enough to see the Zero displayed in museums, its legend preserved behind glass. But legends are only half the story. The other half belongs to the men who climbed into new machines, trusted new tactics, and shattered an enemy's certainty in a single afternoon. If this story moved you, please hit that like button. Every click tells the algorithm this piece of history is worth remembering. We're dedicated to rescuing these forgotten stories from the archives. If you want to join us on this mission, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Where are you watching from? Drop a comment with your city or state, and tell us if someone in your family served. Thank you for ensuring that David McCampbell and the men of VF-15 do not disappear into silence. They deserve to be remembered,